Hey now, it's January 15th. By the time you watch this, it's probably too late, but it is the last day to enter my contest. You can find it somewhere with the 1,000 subscriber contest. But we are finally up to the E's. And the good thing about the E's is there's only 4 E's for the Hall of Famers. And we're going to start with Dennis Eckersley, and they get progressively harder as we finish the end of the E's. So starting with Dennis Eckersley, he was probably the first player ever, as many of you know, growing up like me, a child of the 80s. I knew him only as a closer, but he was a very good starter as well. He won over 150 games as a starter. I think him and Smoltz are the only two to get over 150 wins as both as a starter. Not as 150 wins and 150 saves. Both him and Smoltz. I know him personally as a child of the 80s, most importantly for giving up Gibson's home run in the 1988 Game 1 of the World Series. Quick story, I actually asked Tony La Russa, I was at an event with him, and I asked him, I said, do you think you would have won the series if not for that home run? He said, absolutely. He said the whole team was just completely down after Gibson hit that home run. So digressing a little, Eckersley's autograph, very common. I mean, I'll put a link below, but he signs through the mail through his foundation. I think he's $10 an autograph, 24 baseball. If that's wrong or someone else knows that's wrong, let me know. I'm happy to update that. So, I mean, we'll look at it in a second. First ballot Hall of Famer, which, I mean, when you think about him, I mean, first ballot's impressive. There aren't a lot of first ballot Hall of Famers, and he's one of them. But very common autograph. He just retired from the broadcasting for the Red Sox. Going back to signing through the mail, I think he's very good. He's got some personal issues going on with his family right now, so I don't know how good he is this second. But without any further ado, let's take a look at the autograph analysis of Mr. Dennis Eckersley. So as always, we start with the PSA database I like to sign. Now, Dennis Eckersley, and like Ron calls it out as a very sloppy autograph. I mean, it's pretty unique. I don't want to call it horrible because he's usually pretty good when he's signing at a paid signing. He does the Cooperstown show every year, and he does appearances throughout. You're going to drop like $70 to get him. But you're going to look, the D's almost like an O, as you can see right here. Then he signs the full Dennis. Oh, this is a full name Dennis. It looks like Lee Eckersley. So I just want to skip this for a while because that's not his common signature. Now, of course, now we're at like old contracts. Again, you can see the D looks like an O, but you're going to see in a minute here. The Dennis is usually attached right to the E. And you're usually going to get every letter, but he has big round letters, especially with the D and the Y. And it's fairly pronounced when you see it. Again, okay, now I don't know what this is from, but again, we're getting a little closer to his modern signature where you can see the D's big loop circles around his whole first name, and the Dennis usually connects to the E and that end. Lately, the E is not connected for the rest of the name, but you should get most of the letters. Let's go backwards here for a second. When you're looking at his autograph, here's a nice common. This is almost, my guess, could be a free signing because you're not getting every letter like you normally should see. But again, you can see here the big D. It looks like an O. Then he starts with the E, and it's sort of signed usually as an upward as a 45-degree angle, as you can see right here. You see how it goes up? It usually doesn't sign at a 90-degree level plane. It's usually up. I'm going to go backwards here instead of going forwards here. I mean, for better or worse, I'm just looking at all the PSA stuff here. Unfortunately, these are PSA, because he's so common, PSA is featuring the rare versions of his autograph, which, again, I don't blame them for doing. But if you want to look at, for example, my autograph right here, this is common what you see. This was at a paid signing shortly after he got into the Hall of Fame. And again, you can see right here, it's a big looping. Again, I call it an O almost, but it's a D. And then you go with the E. And again, it's signed upwards. You can see connects to the E ends, and the K. You can see sort of starts right here. And you should get every letter. And his autograph, if we jump to eBay, I mean, for $50, this is what you're going to get. I mean, this could be an in-person. I'm not really sure. You can get nicer, obviously. But again, like even right here, this is probably a paid signing autograph right here. I can't get it. And again, I was looking at eBay. I don't see anything forged. Again, he's so common that, like, why forge him? You know what I'm saying? Why waste the baseball forging him? So again, this is like probably a paid signing. It's faded a little bit. You can see right here. You can see the O, and the Dennis gets into the E. It loops around. It goes to the K. And believe it or not, I think he makes an effort of signing every letter. The number 43 is not that common of a inscription, but it's there. So again, this is going to be a short video because it's just like I said, it's not a rare autograph. If you really want him that bad and you're worried, because like he's a Hall of Famer and you need him to send something to his foundation, wait a little while. Again, it's very cheap. And if you want to wait for a show, I say for sure, barring any major medical things, he'll sign again in Cooperstown. He's very good about that. Not rare at all. I wish I had more to say about Eckersley. I really don't. It's kind of a boring Hall of Famer, for lack of a better term. And speaking of boring Hall of Famers, we're going to go to the next one, another boring Hall of Famer, and that's going to be Billy Evans. But until then, as always, keep collecting.